Hey, what is good, YouTube Nation? G right here with Midwest Maverick Sports. Hey, it's Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Doing an NBA video real quick. I'm on my way home from work. That's right, yeah, work. I don't do this for a living. So, hey, I got about about half a dozen NBA picks for you tonight. But before we get to that, hey, if you're new or you've already subscribed, whatever, hey, tune in daily. I'm going to do what I can for basketball right now. Football's a priority. I'm going to spend most of my time on it right now just because it's so early in the basketball season and there's really not much to, dissect to get into as far as numbers. I really don't like going off last year too much. So, yeah, with that, last night, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Last night, so 2 games, went 50%. Won the first one with the Celtics covering, lost the second one with the Warriors. I didn't watch a lick of that second game. Hey, Eastern time zone, shit starts at 10. Got to get up and go to work, so I ain't watching that shit. So I don't know what happened. I just know it looked like there was minimal defense, so which I'm not surprised by, but I am surprised that Warriors didn't blow the doors off that Thunder squad. But hey, is what it is. Like I said, it's early in the season. I would temper things down a little bit. I wouldn't go all in on these games. Like I said, teams, early in the season, figuring out, getting comfortable. You're better off betting on teams that didn't have many changes and players and teams that have been together for a little while, got some chemistry going. Something to build on, but I'm liking a few picks tonight for sure. On the slate, it's a heavy slate tonight. I think you got about 10 games, it seems like. So let's look at the first game real quick. So you have, looks like Milwaukee Bucks are favored by 3 at Charlotte. Based off these teams last year, both these teams struggled on the road. They were sorry road teams, and I lost quite a bit of money on these two when I bet these two on the road. But I think Milwaukee here is a far better team, with the Greek Freak, Bledsoe, Parker, Middleton, those guys. Middleton's healthy. So I compared the rosters earlier. I was going through all these rosters to see how the starting lineups and the depth were. I'm liking the Bucks to lay the 3. I like it more as a pick 'em. I think the Bucks win for sure, but I'd also lay the 3. Charlotte, I looked at the depth chart and starting lineup for Charlotte. It looks like they even got worse. I don't see what they added, and they were horrible last year. They couldn't even cover double-digit spreads on the regular, and so smart money tonight is on the Bucks. So I lay the 3. And I'm going to stay away from over-unders right now entirely. So until basketball gets in the groove of things and see what points are being put up. Could be, I don't like betting on over-under when there's sloppy basketball first couple weeks of the season. Second game, you have Detroit home versus, look at my sheet. Sorry, I keep referring to my sheet. Brooklyn. Kind of the same situation with the last game. Not much changes to these two teams, and it looks like Brooklyn has several key injuries. So Crabbe, Hollis Jefferson, those guys, so they're out. And Detroit is an entirely different team at home. Hey, that's where I'm at. I live in Detroit. I see this team all the time, and it's a new arena here, the second year into Little Caesars Arena here. So crowd should show out, should be pretty hype with Griffin, especially Griffin and Drummond and Jackson, those guys. So they're giving 5.5. I'd lay the 5.5 just because Detroit's at home, and looking at the matchup and the starting 5, I don't think they'll be able to contain. They won't even be able to rebound. Rebound on Griffin and Drummond at all. So huge differential there. So take Detroit, lay the 5.5. Next game, You have Pacers home, giving 6.5 to the Pacers. I don't know what lines have done since in the last few hours, so it might change a half point or a point here and there. So keep that in mind. So Pacers, like I said, giving 6.5 to Memphis at home. Pacers are typically a lot better home team than a road team. They're pretty much getting everybody back, and they added Tyreek Evans in the rotation, so it looks like he's going to be gearing up as their sixth man, which is really good for them because they need that scoring off the bench. So I would lean towards the money line on this if you're going to bet the Pacers, but I actually like the Memphis covering the 6.5. Memphis is one of those teams. I know last year they just had a plethora of injuries and they were just decimated. But they ended up winning games late and started getting guys back. But I actually like this lineup. I looked at it, and you have Wayne Selden at the 2. You have shooting guard. You have Conley's healthy. Who knows how long that's going to last? Gasol, Green, JaMychal Green at the 4 spot, and then I forgot to top of my head who was playing the 3. But anyways, I was looking at the matchup. I like the cover to 6.5. I would take Memphis to cover 6.5. It's first game of the season. The Pacers at home, home crowd will be on fire, but I think it's just too many points here. So take Memphis with the 6.5. I skipped the next couple of games. I'm not going to touch Miami and Orlando. I mean, those squads are sorry as hell. You could take the over. I mean, probably not much defense, but got some injuries right now on both sides. I just didn't know. I couldn't bet this game. I know it looks like Miami's favored by 2.5 or so, but I'm staying away from that. Same thing for New York and Atlanta. Just too many injuries. Atlanta's got a bunch of rookies. I don't trust either team in this situation. I mean, if you go with the Knicks, you're betting on like Cantor and Hardaway, or a couple guys, and then just a bunch of scrubs. So I'm staying away from that game. Toronto, they're giving 13 to Cleveland. Toronto's at home. Talked a little bit about it yesterday. Toronto, obviously, with Kawhi Leonard, DeRozan's gone to the Spurs. I don't know what the Cavs have exactly, other than, and what they do have sounds like they're not even playing or injured or questionable. So Larry Nance Jr., I don't know if he's going to play. J.R. Smith's already been ruled out. So, I mean, you got Kyle Korver, Hill, and a couple other guys going up against they're at Toronto, going up against Lowry, Kawhi, and those guys. So, I wouldn't trust Cleveland on the road. No LeBron getting 13 at all. I think this has blowout written all over it. So I'm laying the 13. You should too, and take Toronto at home. They'll be fired up with Kawhi there. Okay, so the next game we have, looks like Houston is giving 7.5 to the Pelicans. High scoring game. I think the over under is 230. Like I said, I'm not going to bet over unders, but if you want to bet it, I'd bet the over in that all day. But on the line, that 7.5. This is another matchup that I looked at the starting lineups and the depth and the whole roster for both. I'm kind of liking Pelicans in this situation to cover. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they're going to cover. I think they got enough athleticism, and Anthony Davis at the 5, and they got some playmakers in Holiday on the wing, and Drew Holiday, and those guys. So I think they can cover. Then I would take the Pelicans tonight, the 7.5. I think it's kind of the same situation with the Warriors last night. And this could come down to a possession. I don't know where Carmelo Anthony is going to fit into all the mix. With Houston, they lost Ariza. Ariza was a staple for defense and rebounding and giving those guys second opportunities. And I think they just on paper, Holiday going to be guarding Harden. So I would definitely take the points in that one. I think that's a tricky number there, and everybody's going to be on Houston obviously because they're at home and they're high powered, up and down, quick up and down threes all day. I don't know how many threes they're going to shoot, but I think Davis will be a problem with him. I think Anthony Davis will be a problem for them tonight. Next game, San Antonio is home hosting Minnesota. Obviously, all the news with Minnesota. So the Spurs are giving 2.5. Like I said, obviously all the new news with the situation with Jimmy Butler in Minnesota in the locker room and shit like that. They just like all the past couple of years, they have the talent, all right, but they just can't get it done. They can't gel as a team. Wiggins and all that. They have, like I said, they have all the talent in the world. They just can't get it done, especially on the road. If you bet NBA, you know that taking these teams like the Hornets, like Minnesota, these guys on the road, they just don't get it done. So I actually like the Spurs to open up. They got the Kawhi shit past them. He's gone. DeRozan's gonna have a great game. I think that they're gonna win and cover the 2.5. Skipping Utah Kings game. Utah's gonna win. I just don't trust that line with Utah on the road. Sacramento's got some young ballers, and just like the Nets and Kings last year, especially when they were home, they were a cover sleeper that that showed up a lot and ended up covering a lot of spreads when they technically weren't supposed to or picked to. So I'm going to stay away from that game tonight. But I expect the Jazz will be in the mid. They'll be a good team this year. They'll be in the mid seeding of the West, especially with that defense. Phoenix, I like them at home versus Dallas. Dallas has got some injuries as well. I don't like their depth. I don't like their roster. I don't like the matchup. Phoenix is just young with Booker, Ayton, and those guys. I think that and they have pretty good depth actually. They got Warren coming off the bench at the 3 spot, and so like I said, they're athletic. They're going to put up some points. They're going to run the floor. I like Phoenix to get it done, and they're a 1.5 favorite at home. Last game I got on my list is Denver Nuggets. Looks like they're a 1.5. I got a 1.5 dogs. I'm not sure if that's right now. It might be a typo, but either way, I'm going to take the Denver Nuggets at the Clippers. Clippers lost DeAndre Jordan. I think that's going to kick them in the nuts bad. They need that rebounding, that inside rim protector. I think Clippers are going to be terrible this year. And I like the way Denver, that Novich or whatever his name is, Djokovic or whatever, he's gonna have a field day on that in the interior tonight. And Denver's got some other ballers too, so I like them to get the job done. 1.5 either way, whatever. I think they're laying it or giving it. So lay the 1.5 at the Clippers. Say Clippers don't have much, so that's what I'm liking. Hey, so those are my picks for tonight. NBA. It's Wednesday, October 17, 2018, Hump Day. Full game of slate. Excited about NBA. I'm excited about NCAA around the corner. Stay tuned tonight. Also, I got my NCAA football week 8 picks squared away. Putting out my model tonight and my picks. So stay tuned for that. Probably get some football or some NFL out tomorrow. That's looking pretty good. Hoping for a bounce back week in both. It was pretty rough yesterday all around. I don't think it's no secret for everybody. Last week for both with all the upsets. So, like I said, Midwest Maverick, you like my stuff, like, subscribe, comment, give me some feedback, what you like, what you don't like. If you have a page yourself and you want to sub or whatever, that's fine with me. I don't care. Like I said, put out yesterday, I don't do this shit for a living. I'm just a fan. I make extra money on the side. I've made quite a bit of money in the last 3 to 4 years betting on both football and basketball. So I'm not a professional capper, where I'm gonna charge money for picks or whatever the hell. I don't care. I just don't know my consistency or how much I can commit daily to giving picks combined football and basketball now. So I'll do what I can. And if you want to see something specific, hit me up, on my channel and comment on one of my videos, and I'll see what I can do. But hey, it's that G right here, Midwest Maverick Sports. Let's bang them books, lock them picks in, and I'll catch you on the flip side, which is the win side. Peace.